Hello and welcome to Algebra 2 tutorial. We're doing a little bit of a follow-up video here on writing exponential equations. There's a few things that I want to delve in deeper with those strategies we did. So the first one, it can sometimes happen when you do two random points. I'm actually going to do the same problem we did last time, but I'm going to substitute slightly differently. So I want to show you how it works if you happen to choose to substitute the different way. Remember, we are still using y equals a times b to the x, and then we plug in our x and y from each point. So your first equation will be 8 is equal to a times b to the first, and your second one will be 3.28 is equal to a times b to the fifth. Now last time I did a little bit of manipulation here and then substituted. This time I'm going to do it over here so you can see what happens. So if I divide by b to the fifth on both sides to get a by itself, so we get 3.28 over b to the fifth. We still do the same step. We take this and plug it in for b in the other equation. I'm sorry, for a in the other equation. Let's fix that arrow. We are solving for a. So our equation becomes 8 is equal to, instead of a, we're putting all that, 3.28 over b to the fifth, and then times b to the first. Now, the b's do still cancel a little bit, but not the same way they did last time. So now when I cancel out the b's, I had 5 on the bottom and 1 on top. There's now 4 b's, but they're in the bottom. And so they do need to stay in the bottom. And now I've got to solve this equation. The best way you probably know how to solve that equation is put a 1 under the 8 and then cross multiply. So we have 8b to the fourth is equal to 3.28. I'm hoping you're home free from here. There's not anything else that's too weird. Gotta divide by 8 on both sides. And then we get b to the fourth is equal to, so we've got 3.28 divided by 8 is 0.41. And then we've got to do that to the fourth, or 1/4 power, sorry. So to get rid of the fourth power, you raise it to the 1/4. And hopefully all of this is now looking fairly familiar. Nothing else has changed from here on out. It's mostly the fact that your b stays on the bottom here. That's really the new thing that can sometimes throw people off. So that goes away. b is equal to 0.41 to the power of 1/4. And so you get 0.8. Substitute that in. Where are we? Now we have to go over to here. So not nearly as nice, but we've got to do 3.28 divided by 0.8 to the fifth. So I'll do that over here just on my calculator. 3.28 divided by 0.8 raised to the power of 5. Now we got a little bit of round off error, but I'd say that answer is still pretty clear where a is equal to 10. So our equation is the same if you remember from the previous video, 10 times 0.8, oh, I'm not sure what happened there, to the power of x. So it doesn't really matter which equation you start working with first. The steps are pretty much the same. All right, one more thing that I want to show you that can happen when you do these types of equations. I'm going to use an a value plus a point example to keep it a little simpler. So the big difference here, We got our a value, that's good, but the difference comes over here. We're given another point on the negative side where x is negative. So remember, on these easier ones, you get your a value for free, but you have to solve for b. So to do that, you plug in an x and a y. The y is 16. 2 times b, but the x value is a negative 3. So it's been a while since we've seen a negative exponent. We got to make sure we work with that correctly. But first we can divide by 2. That's the first step here. So b to the negative 3 is equal to 8. Now, we have to get b by itself. We have to get rid of this negative 3 here. So the first you want to rewrite this. Remember, a negative exponent sends it to the denominator. And now we want to get b by itself. Again, maybe cross multiply. So you get 8b to the third is equal to just 1. Divide the 8 to the other side. So that's 1 over 8. And then we have to get rid of the 3 by doing a cube root. I might do a cube root because I think I can do this in my head. So b is equal to cube root the other side. And when using our properties here, we can cube root the top, which is just 1. And now we can cube root the bottom. And hopefully we kind of know that. The cube root of 8 is just 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. And so we get b is equal to 1/2. Now remember, we're writing an equation. So our full equation is y is equal to 2 times 1/2 to the x. So there is our equation. And so the new thing here is that negative exponent step right there. If you get a negative exponent, you do want to rewrite it. Remember, it sends it to the denominator to the bottom. All right, that's pretty much all the extra stuff I wanted to show you. Just to add on a little bit to how you can solve an equation or write an equation for exponentials. Sometimes you got to deal with those two quirks. All right, so I got one for practice here, so you can try that out. It's got a negative exponent in it. Good job, or good luck.